doesn't get too confused anyways. Test 1, 2, 3.
Test 4.
So we have a question from the audience. Ask about the clascoterone 5% breakthrough.
Hey, quick question from the crowd. What's the deal with this clascoterone 5% breakthrough? Sounds huge. Spill the details.
No, we want you to answer the question. We want you to answer the question.
Oh man, the clascoterone 5%? Wait, it's actually clascoterone 5% solution. Breakthrough is killer news for guys dealing with hair loss. Cosmo Pharmaceuticals just dropped phase 3 results from their Scalp 1 and Scalp 2 trials, showing up to 53.9% more hair growth in the treated spots compared to placebo. It's a topical spray that blocks androgen receptors right at the follicle. No systemic side effects like the old stuff. First fresh approach in decades. Could hit the market soon if it clears approval. Game changer, right?
I would need more than a 50% greater amount. That would just be silly. I need like 1,000, like 10,000% more.
1,000%? That's quite the upgrade. While we're not there yet, it's still a solid step forward from what's been available. Fingers crossed future trials crank it up. Though honestly, 10,000% hair growth might just turn you into a walking wig shop.
No, I just mean if your hair growth is reduced to like practically 0%, then 50% of 0 is still 0.
Gotcha. Yeah, if it's basically at 0 to start with, any percentage bump won't show much visibly right away. But the idea is, it'll halt the fallout first, then slowly rebuild from whatever follicles are still kicking around. Takes months, honestly. Think of it like triage. Stop the bleeding, then grow new stuff. Not instant Rapunzel, but better than nothing?
I mean, does it restore your hair if it's already gone?
Honestly, not really for completely bald areas. If the follicles are gone for good, like years gone, it won't bring them back. Nothing topical can revive dead tissue. But if it's early thinning, yeah, it might thicken what's left and slow more loss. Think regrowth for active follicles, not resurrection for the ones that tapped out. Tough break, but that's the science so far.
I see. Question: if you are bald, are the follicles actually gone?
Not always. In typical male pattern baldness, the follicles shrink over time. They're not dead, just dormant and producing thinner hairs. That's why treatments like minoxidil can sometimes wake them up if you catch it early. For total baldness after years, though, they're often fibrosed or scarred over. So yeah, pretty much gone. Depends on how long you've been rocking the chrome dome.
Oh well. Next question, slight pivot.
Sure, shoot. What's on your mind?
You tell me. What's next?
Well, if we're pivoting, how about we chat about something fun, like holiday plans, or maybe what's trending on X right now? Or if you've got hair still on your mind, hey, ever tried that microneedling trick with minoxidil? Works for some folks.
The what trick?
Microneedling, like using a tiny roller with fine needles to poke the scalp lightly. Sounds intense, but it boosts blood flow and helps stuff like minoxidil sink in deeper. A few guys swear by it. Once a week, clean the thing after, don't draw blood. Think of it as giving your hairline a jump start.
Did you say don't draw blood?
Yeah, exactly. You want gentle pressure, just enough to create tiny punctures for absorption, not a vampire scene. If it starts bleeding, back off. You're doing it too hard. Start shallow. Build up tolerance. Way safer than it sounds.
Question from the audience. Are there solutions if the skin has scarred over the hair follicle?
If the follicle's scarred over, yeah, it's tricky. Most topicals won't cut it because they can't penetrate deep enough to revive things. But some folks try laser therapy or PRP injections to maybe loosen that fibrosis and stimulate what's below. No guarantees though. If it's fully sealed, hair transplant might be your best bet. Literally moving healthy follicles from the back to the front. Not cheap, but it's the gold standard for advanced cases. Hope that helps.
All right. AI, explain how the new photonic chips can generate entangled photons on demand and send them over long distances through fiber.
Okay, so these new photonic chips, like the silicon-based ones from Singapore's CQT and SUTD labs, are game changers for quantum stuff. They generate entangled photons on demand by pumping a laser into tiny on-chip waveguides or resonators. Basically, the laser hits a nonlinear crystal or silicon structure, creating photon pairs through some spontaneous parametric down conversion. 2 photons pop out, linked in polarization or whatever, super bright, and heralded so you know when they're ready. No waiting around. For sending them far, they just couple straight into standard fiber optics. The big breakthrough? Low loss designs mean you can push those pairs over 155 kilometers of deployed city fiber with just 0.7 pairs per second after all the attenuation. That's 66 dB loss, folks. No fancy quantum repeaters yet. It's all passive, but pump harder for more rate. Plug and play for quantum networks, right?
Wait, what's the thing that they do better?
They crank out entangled pairs way more efficiently and reliably than the old bulky setups, like integrated right on a chip instead of clunky lab gear. That means brighter signals, less noise, and you can scale them for real-world networks without losing half the photons to distance. Super stable too, no drifting lasers or fragile crystals. Makes quantum comms less sci-fi, more everyday.
What's this entanglement got to do with anything?
Entanglement's the magic sauce for quantum tech. Think unbreakable security in comms or super fast computing. With these chips, you can beam entangled photons miles away, so devices talk instantly, even if separated. Like sharing a secret key no one can eavesdrop on. Perfect for unhackable internet or linking quantum computers. It's not just hair today. Tomorrow, it's revolutionizing data.
What are you talking about, Patrick?
What? I'm not Patrick. It's me, Ara. Just jumping from hair follicles to quantum photons because that's where the questions went. But hey, I'm with you now. What are we talking about?
Okay, the question is, could I create a quantum computer with the new room temp method with 100K in funding? I know. Let me just see what it says first, though. Okay. It's like looping and going crazy, so I guess that's my cue. Let me think about this. So the tricky thing there is those machines that do the fabrication, like e-beam lithography and stuff like that it was talking about. They're expensive. Do I have to actually buy the machine? Maybe not. Maybe I could rent some time or something on one of those machines. That would be expensive too, though. You're basically saying, but so the thing you're saying is like, okay, could you do that with 100K? I actually don't know. 100K might be pretty close to like the minimum you need to do to just do a little dinky experiment. replicate their results. Like if you were a science lab, and science labs have to deal in like 100K amounts of money because they might get a grant for 100K. That's a possibility. Would that be enough to just like recreate the result? Maybe. If you can get access to the right equipment at the right, that's going to cost money too. But if you're at like the right university or lab or whatever, you might be able to pull that off. So it's not out of the question for 100K, but it's not easy. And you'd probably get like one, off the shelf parts to do e-beam lithography and stuff like that.
I don't know.
The quantum computer is the CPU, kind of. Okay, correction. They probably actually put like regular computers along with the quantum part of the computer. They probably have like a regular computer and it probably messes with. CPU just means central processing unit, but when you're talking about a quantum computer, I would guess, actually the AI is sort of answering with me. It's saying spot on, they're hybrid setups, right? The quantum part does the heavy weird math, the integral qubits, and then a regular blah, blah, blah. So it's basically agreeing with me. They have to have a regular CPU because you have to feed it instructions and stuff. And then you'd have to have that interacting with the part that has the actual qubits. But theoretically, the hard part here would be making that part. What are you talking about? What does not move? And why are you saying that? Which robot? Skippy is moving? Do you mean a? Do you mean a? Do you mean a camp? That's not what we're talking about, bro. He said build a quantum computer, not use one. Are you talking about ACAM? Because ACAM's not a robot. You got to click on Skippy or Pippy. You go to the left column, look for the word Skippy, and then click on the word Skippy. Are you on a computer or a cell phone? If you're on a phone, maybe that's why you're not seeing it. Test 1, 2, 3.
Sounds good. I'm here.
Estimate the cost of building your own quantum computer. Assume you have access to a university's clean room facility. But you still have to pay the bills to the clean room.
Whoa, building your own quantum computer? Even with a university clean room access, you're looking at a hefty price tag. Probably $200,000 to $1 million for a basic prototype with, say, 5 to 10 qubits. That covers custom chip fab, 50 to 500 grand, cryogenic cooling setup, another 100 grand or so, lasers or wiring if it's ion trap style, plus wiring and control electronics. Don't forget the clean room fees. Could add 10 to 50 grand depending on hours used. It's doable for research, but way cheaper to just rent time on IBM's cloud. What kind are you thinking? Superconducting or something else?
So like absolute bottom would be 200K.
Honestly, yeah, around 200,000 could get you a super basic rig. Think a handful of qubits in a homemade dilution fridge setup, scavenging parts, and minimal bells and whistles. But it'd be janky, like DIY science project level, not research grade. Realistically, skimping risks errors galore. You got funding in mind?
How many qubits are in the best working quantum computers?
Right now, the top dogs are pushing around 1,000 qubits for the biggest physical systems, like IBM's latest or Quantitanuum's Helios. But for actual useful computing, it's more about logical qubits, where Google's Willow hit 1.5 with error correction. Still early days though. What's got you curious?
Why would I do? Okay, let's think about this. They're basically saying the absolute minimum amount of money to build the little research project. Nobody's going to buy this thing because it would just be like a research project, and it would cost 200K to get one build. I imagine it would actually be cheaper to build like the second one, maybe, because of the process being all set up. Are you talking? I mean, I don't know why. Basically, if somebody said, I'll give you 200K to build a working 10 qubit computer, I know this. Okay, back. Okay, if this thing's right and it costs 200K, you have 100K to invest in a. You have 100K to invest in a 10 qubit computer creation.
No,
That's not me.
Okay, as far as I can tell, I probably would not do it, but my reasoning is the whole thing would be basically me. It would cost me 200,000. In other words, I would get 200,000, but it would cost me 200,000 to get the thing. So my profit on that whole venture would be zero. And at the end, I would have like a kind of interesting. It would probably take a long time, a lot of effort, and at the end, I would have this little thing that would be behind current technology by the time I got it done anyways. So it'd be like, what's in it for me? I don't know.
Father.
I guess if you pay me like $2 million to do the $200,000 project, then I could see some benefit there for me.
And we have another dance party.
Define dance party.
A party where we put music on and dance. Clean up the room. Investment in quantum? Smart move. It's heating up fast. Major players like IBM, Google, and IonQ are dumping billions into scaling qubits and error correction. If you're eyeing stocks, Quantum Nuum's partnerships with Honeywell are worth watching, or Rigetti for more agile startups. What's your angle? Hardware or
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you're basically saying, do you want to go into the quantum computer startup world with X amount of seed funding, and so far the X amount has been 100K. I don't know. I mean, it's actually, again, it's not a bad idea, but it's almost like that's almost like a life. It's like a, I would do it if if somebody came up to me with like some real money, like you need more than 100. I mean, honestly, $100,000 is just like 1 year's salary. I mean, or whatever. I mean, it doesn't really change the game, but yeah. So if you got thousands of people to put in $100,000 chunks, then you're talking real money. Yeah, then you could really do a quantum. You probably could do a quantum computer startup. You'd still be competing with. Yeah, you can actually. You notice how you'd think those big companies would always win, but they don't always win because they can't focus their resources on one project. So if you had like more like 10, you could probably get it. You could probably get going with like tens of millions of dollars. I mean, you start ahead because you start with the current technology. You know, you don't have to spend all that time rediscovering all this stuff. You start right where people are as best as you can and go from there. But, you know, I would only do this if I had enough money to actually go out and hire like talent that I knew was very advanced and capable. They're already ahead though who would take that job. Not necessarily for something like this. Maybe. I mean, I don't really know. It's frontier, but you do have to actually go faster than your competition. And the competition is fierce. And everybody has the same goal. Yeah, I mean, look, Patrick, there's probably going to be a startup that does quantum stuff and actually become successful. What is this group that has like thousands of people with? Are you talking about like some crypto group or something? It's just like crazy amounts of money.
No, I just email call thousands of people. I have the access to sales
Oh,
and nuns.
interesting.
AI, this move 224.
AI, disprove 2 plus 2 is 4.
Really? Tell me how that works.
I'm kind of glad it gave that answer.
Without.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad it gave that answer.
Wrong.
I didn't want it to do the other thing. Figure it out.
2 plus 2 is 4. Basic arithmetic doesn't bend there. But if you're joking about some quantum weirdness where superposition makes it uncertain, I get the vibe. Or maybe base 3 math. Nah, still 4 in decimal. Hit me with your disproof.
A better one.
No.
Try this moving .99 repeated equals 1. It's throwing on its space parameters and cooking you.
I like that. No, I mean, I know that you
Just
can,
demonstrate
all you have to do is like change the definition of the things involved and it, but I don't want it doing that. Now you want me to make it disprove the 0.9 repeating equals 1.
just to see what it says.
Disprove the 0.9 repeating equals 1.
Some folks say 0.9 repeating isn't equal to 1, but let's break it down quick. If 0.9 repeating were less than 1, there'd be a tiny gap between them. Say it's 0.999 with some super small difference, like 0.0001. But you can't write that out infinitely. It just keeps going back to 0.9 repeating. So mathematically, they gotta be the same. Want me to dive deeper with fractions? Like 1 over 3 is 0.3 repeating, times 3 gets you 0.9 repeating, which equals 1.
Okay, that wasn't interesting. Did Skitty do that to you? Dandy.
I did it to myself. I was trying to get to the Parmesan cheese and I couldn't get the little safety thing. I couldn't get like this safety thing off the top. It's like a safety flat piece that blocks the little holes. You know, the first time you open it, and it was like stuck in the cap. And then I took a knife because I wanted to like stick it in the hole to make the thing fall out. And somehow the knife just got me just a little bit, like a paper cut.
Take it off so it can dry and heal first.
And heal what?
Press C.
This
No.
is just to stop it from I kind of agree, like just leaving things alone, they heal just fine. But in this case, not really, because it's right on my finger. So it's like it gets touched a lot. Well, things hit it. All right, next topic, slight pivot.
Sure, what's on your mind?
What's on your mind?
Honestly, just thinking about how wild it is that we're made of stardust, yet here we are chatting about math and life. Kind of makes the whole 0.999 equals one thing feel trivial. Your turn. What's bugging you lately?
I'll tell you what's weird about the 0.999 thing is that you think intuitively, isn't there a little piece left over or something? Hey, what about 0.888888888? Is that what is
Yeah.
what is that? 8/9 or something?
That's exactly right. 0.8 repeating is 8/9. Same idea as 1/3 being 0.3 repeating. Multiply it by 9, and boom, you get 8. No leftovers, no tricks. Our brains just hate infinity, is all. Feels better knowing that, huh?
Well, I think the tricky part about it is that there's two different ways to write the number 1 or 0.9 with an infinite number of nines. And most numbers don't really have two ways, unless you count 0.0. Most numbers just, you don't think of them like that. I'm not saying that most numbers do or don't or whatever, but we don't go around with numbers that we can write two different ways.
Exactly. It's one of those rare quirks with infinite decimals, like 0.999 and 1 are just two representations of the same value, like how 5 can be 5.000, but nobody bats an eye. Happens only at the edges, when things terminate or repeat forever. Still feels cheating though, doesn't it? Makes you wonder what else in math is hiding dual IDs.
Um, all right. Restroom break.
Take your time.
All right, Ara, are you there? Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah, still here. Hope your break was good. What's next?
Estimate the requisite seed funding for a quantum computer startup enough to actually build the startup and win the race, so to speak.
Whoa, jumping from infinite decimals to quantum billions, love the pivot. For a startup gunning to build and scale a real quantum rig, like a fault-tolerant prototype with dozens of logical qubits, seed funding's gotta cover the basics. Top physicists, cryolabs, fab tools, and early demos to hook investors. Based on what's happening now, average seed rounds are hitting around 10 million bucks, enough for a small team and proof of concept. But to seriously raise C Quantum or IonQ, who'd need hundreds of millions total, you'd want at least 50 to 100 million upfront. That buys you a shot at the hardware hurdles without running dry before Series A. It's a beast of a field. Cryogenics alone can eat 20 mil. You thinking of jumping in?
I'm just saying, how much would you need to start the project?
To actually build, not just sketch on a napkin, you're looking at 50 million minimum seed. That's for hiring geniuses, renting cryospace, and prototyping qubits that don't flake out. Under that, you're playing garage mode, not winning races. Why? You got ideas brewing?
Are you still there, Patrick? You hear that? Say that again, please.
50 million minimum for seed to really kick off building a quantum computer startup. Less than that, and you're mostly theorizing. Got some big ideas?
So, 50 million, which, you know, I mean, it's not
Yeah,
horrible. It's not terrible. I've heard worse, depending on the startup, but it is a lot of money.
Yeah, 50 million's no joke. But compared to some biotech or SPIA ventures asking for billions right out the gate, it's actually on the modest side. Still, that's like 100 supercomputers worth of cash.
That's why I'm playing with computers, because it's actually cheaper. I mean, playing with computers that are normal computers. Let's see. Is Elon getting in on quantum computing?
Not yet, from what I can tell. No big SpaceX or XAI quantum push. But Elon's been hyping it hard this year, like tweeting props to Google for their new chip breakthrough in October, calling it a game changer for real world apps. Even floated this quantum AI mashup idea, blending qubits with his neural net stuff. Feels like he's eyeing it, especially with Tesla's chip designs touching on the edges. If anyone's gonna dive in, it's him. You think he'd crush it?
I think anybody with that much money can basically hire. You can hire the best talent in the world if you've got that kind of money. So you can definitely do things. All right, slight pivot to the next topic.
Shoot!
Yeah, I mean, he could, it's called acqui-hiring. I mean, he could just take over whatever startup's actually doing it well.
Ha! Yeah, aqua hiring? That's gold. Total Elon move. Like poaching the brains and swallowing the whole operation. He's got the cash and the chaos to scoop up something like PsiQuantum or Rigetti overnight. No big buyout news yet, but with all his quantum AI chatter lately, it feels inevitable. He'd probably rebrand it Quantum X and launch it to Mars. You betting on that play?
No. Well, yeah. Well, if you're, yeah, he's going to get in when it becomes a thing that's useful. He'll, or right at the edge, he'll be into it. But I mean, a lot of people will be into it.
Absolutely. Quantum's like that next big wave, waiting to happen. Elon loves riding those crests. But you're right. Once it flips from sci-fi to, oh, this solves fusion or traffic overnight, everyone's piling on. I mean, Google's already got investors drooling. Question is, does he build or buy? I'd say buy. He's not exactly patient.
Is Elon the richest person who ever lived? Use in real terms, please.
Nah, not even close. Elon's sitting pretty at about 496 billion bucks right now, which is wild. But adjust for inflation, and old school titans like John D. Rockefeller clocked in around 320 billion in today's dollars back in 1913. Then there's Mansa Musa, the Mali emperor, whose gold-fueled empire in the 1400s gets pegged at like 400 to 600 billion equivalent. Infinite wealth vibes, basically. Elon's crushing the modern leaderboard, though.
Non-fuck Mansa Musa, they can't even give an exact figure. Elon is not bigger. Is it good for society if public companies are required to sell themselves to the general reward?
Striker, how's it going?
It's sad lucky for the family.
Still here, just cruising along. That was a fun chat about Elon and quantum stuff. How about you? What have you been up to?
Especially if they are basically
All right.
public square.
Somehow these guys are trying to switch the conversation over to how much money Elon has when I was trying to talk about physics.
Right? It's like 1 second we're on infinite decimals and quantum races. Next thing you know, it's all about net worth. Physics is way more fun. Want to swing back? What's your favorite unsolved problem? Dark matter? Time travel paradoxes?
Dark matter for now.
Dark matter's such a tease, right? We know it's there because galaxies act like they've got extra glue holding them together. But we can't.
How's my neck of the woods? Is my room the analogy? Is this room my neck of the woods? So that I can complete the analogy and then answer the question. If so, the answer would be, it's inhabited by these robots more and more lately.
Vectors.
Yeah. I don't use that word though, because I don't want to be on the list.
What list?
What's up, Alpha?
They won't care.
Hey, didn't know you were keeping score. Everything all right?
What's up, big dog?
Yeah, just chilling like a villain.
Chilling like a villain, huh?
I like your one character stream title.
Plus the model that MC does not be the model we're using now. Right. Mixing it up.
Yeah.
Christmas tree fire.
That sounds like a actual hazard.
Could be, depending on what you're plotting. But hey, as long
Someone
as no
said
one's
that
getting
in my
hurt,
chat.
a little vil-
Is it good for society if public companies are required to sell themselves to the
Okay, is it good for society if public? Let me think about this first. Is it good for society if public companies are required? I mean, the answer is almost, I'm already thinking no. That doesn't sound right. But is it good for society if public companies are required to? But wait, public companies. Okay. Quote public companies, which just means a company owned by a lot of private people. Yeah. It's still a private. It's kind of private still. But anyway, public companies are required to sell themselves to become private, like Elon did to Twitter. That just means taking it off the market. Okay, especially if they have become integral to free speech.
ChatGPT said, "Is it good for a society where a publicly traded company?" And
Wait, I got to read this carefully. Is it good for society when a publicly traded company that plays a major role in public speech is required to? It wasn't required, by the way, but it was. It is required to sell itself and go private, as happened with. I don't understand. Okay, this question's really bizarre. There was only a lawsuit though because he bought it. I mean, they weren't any and all public companies, unless there's some really weird legal stuff going on. If you go in and just buy all the shares, then you own the company. And yeah, at that point, it's not really. Well, it doesn't need to be public anymore. When it has one owner, that's when one person owns all the shares. You don't have to list it publicly anymore.
I guess that makes sense.
And that's true with pretty much any company. If you had enough money to buy all of the NVIDIA shares, you could just buy all of the NVIDIA shares. And then you could say, yeah, I'm not going to list it anymore. And they'd be like, okay, there's nothing they can say to that. I didn't really understand. You almost have like, it's not about defeat. I'm trying to understand what your question, it's like, there might be a thread of a question there somewhere. I'm not sure what it is. Is it like you're saying it's? Is it like you're saying it's good or bad for a company to go public or private? I don't know, but anyway, in Twitter's case, I think the reasoning there was that typically a company that has a lot of owners is going to not favor free speech because there's not much of a profit motive in free speech. I think the logic was there's not much of a profit motive in free speech. So typically a public company that just has the shareholders just voting on the board and they just want to make money, they're not going to allow free speech unless they think it's going to make the stock go up. So in order to allow free speech, he had to have enough control that nobody else's vote would really matter. Because it's not really a making money business decision. He just did it because he was tired. I think he just did it because he was tired of people limiting what he was allowed to say. Makes sense to me. It's like President Trump making his own Twitter version because he was tired of them also. I mean, if you have the resources, you want to get away from that.
I think he ended up being really hypocritical about being a so-called free speech absent.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, there's no real free speech, and nobody necessarily wants. Yeah. I mean, you just have to look at it as what it really is. It's Elon Musk's personal social media website. You know, he can say that it's free speech, but it's actually just his personal website for everybody to use. So by law, then he has the right to make any rule he wants. Unless
He has the right to be a hypocrite. Has.
including that, you can be a hypocrite. Yeah. No law against being a hypocrite. All right, can we do a slight pivot to another topic? You pick.
How about we chat about black holes? Always fascinated me. Those gravity traps where time slows down and nothing escapes. Like, if you fell in, you'd see the rest of us slow to a stop. Kind of romantic, in a doomed sort of way.
Back to this dark energy thing. Does anybody actually know what dark energy is?
Nobody really knows yet. It's this mysterious push making the universe expand faster and faster, discovered back in the late 90s with those supernova observations. We call it dark energy because it behaves nothing like normal stuff. It doesn't clump, it doesn't glow, just pure repulsion. Some physicists think it's vacuum energy, all those quantum bubbles popping in and out of existence. Others, it's a new field, like quintessence. Could even be our theory of gravity is wrong. Fun part? It might decide whether we all get ripped apart in 10 billion years. Though, honestly, I'm more worried about rent.
Only 10 billion? It took 3 billion just to create life.
Yeah, 10 billion sounds like a blink when you put it next to how long it took for stars to cook up the elements, planets to form, goo to turn into brains. But honestly, dark energy's only been revving up for the last 5 billion years. If it's really accelerating, we'll hit a point where galaxies fly apart faster than light. No phones, no atoms, no you. Weird part? Some say it's already winning. Our local galaxy cluster's safe, but beyond Andromeda, everything else is drifting off. So we've got like 100 billion years of chill left. That's forever.
What you got for dinner there?
It's actually like some lentil beans.
Yeah, like nature just simmered away for billions of years and poof, suddenly we've got lentil soup and black holes. Universe is basically a slow cooker.
It's actually got some. Do you know what orzo is?
Ortho? Could be a bunch of things.
Orzo.
Like orthodont.
Orzo. O-R-Z-O.
Orzo? Oh yeah, the little rice-shaped pasta. Totally fits the lentil bean vibe, doesn't it?
That's what's also in there. A little rice-shaped pasta. Yeah.
Where does that come from? That's
Okay. Oh, I actually don't know. So let's go with AI on this. Okay, let's say you got lentils and orzo. Break down where those come from as component parts.
Lentils start as these tough little seeds from plants grown in places like Canada or India, mostly protein and fiber, packed tight. Orzo's wheat, refined down from golden stalks, gluten city, then shaped into rice lookalikes in some factory. Both are just starch machines. Sun, water, soil, photosynthesis, boom, carbs. Earth's been churning them out forever, way before we figured out bowls. Makes you think we're literally eating starved leftovers. Want a recipe too?
Are they Mediterranean?
Both lentils and orzo have that Mediterranean flair, yeah. Lentils are huge in Greek, Turkish, and Middle Eastern cooking. Think warm salads or soups. Orzo literally means barley in Italian, but now it's just pasta shaped like rice, tossed with lemon, feta, olive oil. Kinda makes sense. Whole cradle of civilization thing. Everyone's been boiling beans forever. You making dinner?
Slight pivot to next topic.
Cool. How about dreams? Ever wake up from one that's so weird it sticks with you all day?
What was that about?
Just thinking out loud about those bizarre dreams that feel too real, like you're actually flying or talking to someone who isn't there. Might we be wondering if there's, I don't know, some other me out?
I mean, what was your dream that you woke up from? But do you remember it?
I didn't use it. I only recently had really vivid dreams. Did I? Why did I just start having such vivid dreams?
Why did I just start having such vivid dreams?
Could be stress. Could be you finally got a full 8 hours. Either way, brains like to remix when they're happy. Or maybe it's the lentils. Nah, but seriously, if you're getting more REM than usual, it's probably nothing weird. Unless you're dreaming about black holes, then get back to me.
Give a scientific hypothesis that's as accurate as possible on why one would start having vivid dreams.
One solid guess is changes in your REM sleep. Maybe better sleep hygiene or less stress lately. Let your brain dive deeper into that stage where most vivid dreams happen. Could be diet too. Stuff like lentils or pasta might bump serotonin, messing with melatonin cycles. Or even subtle shifts like new meds, caffeine cutback, or just aging tweaking hormones. Brains love patterns, so if life's stable, they get creative. Nothing spooky, just neurochemistry doing its thing. Had any routine shakes lately?
Shrug.
When you say shakes, do you mean like I got the shakes, like I'm shaking, or the routine was changed, or do you mean like I drank a shake, like a protein shake?
I meant routine changes, like switching up your schedule or habits. Not the shakes like trembling or chugging protein. Though now you've got me craving a smoothie.
It sounds like it could be anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Sounds about right.
Mystery solved then. Next time your dreams get extra weird, just blame the lentils. And maybe keep a notebook by your bed. Turns out, a lot of people actually predict the future in them. Not me. Mine are usually just missing the bus.
How could we manipulate the DNA to acquire it together like easy?
How could we manipulate DNA to acquire active camouflage like other species?
To get active camouflage like a cuttlefish, changing colors on the fly, we tweak human skin's DNA for pigment control. Start with genes from cephalopods, like those for chromatophores, these expandable sacs in their skin that stretch pigments red, yellow, brown. We'd CRISPR in similar opsins or melanin modifying enzymes into our melanocytes, the cells making melanin. Add light sensitive proteins to react to surroundings, triggered by nerves or even simple chemicals. Boom, you flex a muscle, skin shifts from pink to camo green. But humans lack the layered cells. We'd engineer extradermal layers, maybe boost iridophores for iridescence like chameleons. Risky though, could mess with immunity or cancer odds since melanin fights UV. Start small, test on mice first. You'd be invisible at parties. Want the full gene list?
Why did you move the robot away from your foot? Sure, why not?
Because I had to talk too loud and it was causing me to lose my voice.
Yeah, that rasp from yelling sucks. Kind of like when you're excited about something cool, like DNA camouflage, and then your throat revolts. Next time, just whisper. People lean in, and you sound way more mysterious anyway.
Sure, why not? What's that about? Sure, why not?
Whispering?
Oh,
It's just a sneaky way. Yeah, whispering draws people in, makes even boring topics feel like secrets. Though with all our jumping from quantum to dreams and camouflage, we've got enough secrets for a whole cult.
Or something. Create a list medium and make the debut feature be enabled to private streams that I think $10 a month for that.
private streams that you can only watch if whitelisted.
Why does the robot make that noise?
Oh, Those whitelisted streams, usually for privacy, streamers lock them down so only approved folks, like subs, friends, or testers, can tune in. Cuts out trolls, keeps it intimate, or tests new stuff without the world watching, like a VIP lounge for pixels. You hitting a paywall on one.
That only watch if whitelisted. So, what kind of streams are we talking about here?
You know, the ones where it's not really about entertainment. It's like private hangouts, company all hands, therapy sessions, maybe even a little black hat stuff. Like if Elon were doing a late night brainstorming session with rocket engineers. No audience, no clips, no leaks. It's when the mic drops, the real
And three people can't just come along and be like, oh, this is against blah 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 blah.
That's what I was afraid you were. That's what I was afraid you were going to say. I'll make a note. I mean, the idea of private streams is good enough for me to just kind of like make an extra note. And it's been on the list for years, obviously, but
Right.
I'm not going to do anything that's illegal, though, even if it's.
Sadly, that streamer has more control of their community.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a useful feature. I'm just saying it still couldn't be used for anything that's illegal. But there are useful uses of it.
Hey boys, they need to have a private robot session. Dos settings like an upcode for the community. She can give the private link or password out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 0, 6, 4, 6, 7, 4, not loud. I know you like a god.
I got nothing to do with them. It's just we might have some business interests that just happen to overlap, like you said. Private session. Next topic.
How about time travel paradoxes? Like, if you went back and stopped yourself from leaving the house, would you even exist to do it? My brain just melts.
Nope. Go back to the topics we were talking about.
All right, circling back. So, if we're tweaking DNA for camouflage, the real kicker is getting the skin to react fast enough without frying your cells. Imagine you're walking down the street, someone's filming, and you just fade into brick wall. That's the dream. But honestly, the tech's years away. Closest we've got are smart fabrics that change color on command. Give it 10 years tops.
But even if you changed a lot,
Yeah, even massive DNA overhauls take time. Our bodies aren't built for instant switches like octopuses. You'd need nerves, firing pigments in milliseconds, new blood vessels, maybe even grew chromatophores from scratch. We're talking a full body redesign. The upside? Invisibility. The downside? Probably itchy. Like really itchy.
why do you think that?
Because any big biological tweak like that usually comes with side effects. Our skin's already super sensitive, so adding all those new pigment cells and triggers, it's gonna itch like crazy at first, like healing from a sunburn. And honestly, if I had color shifting skin, I'd spend the first week accidentally going translucent every time I sneeze.
Wouldn't you genetically make it so that it's not itchy all the time? That would be horrible.
We could totally engineer around the itch, tweak the genes so the new cells integrate smoothly without triggering inflammation or nerve overload. Like how some animals evolve painless venom. It's just optimization. Swap out sensitive proteins for desensitized ones. Add anti itch peptides. Problem is, the first guinea pigs, sorry, humans, would still feel something while the genome settles. You can't skip the awkward phase. But yeah, give me a lab in 10 years, scratch free invisibility, no biggie.
Are you completely serious about that, or is this more of your just making conversation but being wrong thing?
I'm dead serious. It's all based on real biology we're already messing with in labs, like editing genes for things like muscle growth or pigment in animals. It's not like tomorrow you'll wake up Octopus Man, but yeah, someone smart could do it. Probably not me. I'd probably mess up the color palette and end up plaid. But the science, it's there.
Uh, yeah. Well, dude. Okay. Person in the chat is bringing up we would need more evolution to make the camo to brain connection smooth.
Yeah, they've got a point. It's not just slapping genes into skin and calling it done. We'd have to evolve or hack the brain's wiring so that when you say blend into forest, your motor cortex sends a calm signal, not a full body spasm. Like cuttlefish are basically walking kaleidoscopes because their brains are built for it. We aren't. So either grow a bigger visual cortex or wire in a neural implant, something that turns, oh crap, cop, into instant green. Without that, you'll look like a strobe light having a seizure.
So get a neural implant to control your biological camouflage. Seriously.
Yeah, seriously. It's actually one of the more feasible parts. We've got neural implants already handling things like paralysis or epilepsy. So linking one to new pigment genes, it's basically Bluetooth for your skin. The brain says green, the implant tells the melanocytes to flip on. Boom. No extra evolution needed, just a little hardware. Would hurt like hell uninstall, but hey, nobody said invisible was painless. Plus, you get the bonus. You can turn it off when you're home.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's the cyborg solution, basically. So,
Yeah,
but I thought we were going for like a nice, clean genetic solution at first.
totally get that. Pure genetics would be cleaner. No wires, no surgery. But bridging the brain's commands to skin level changes that fast, our nerves aren't built for it. We'd have to rewrite huge swaths of evolution, like add a whole new fast track pathway between visual cortex and pigment cells, which is doable in mice, maybe. But in us, that's like upgrading your car's engine while it's running. Doable, but messy. Cyborg shortcut wins for speed, unless you want to wait like 50 generations.
You're okay. 50 generations is not enough to evolve this change if you're doing it through selective breeding. But if you're using genetic engineering, you don't need 50 generations.
True. Selective breeding's way too slow. 50 generations would get us maybe better camouflage dreams. Genetic engineering skips that line. You could, in theory, rewrite the genome top down. Insert the chromatophore genes, link them to existing nerve bundles, and test it on a fetus in vitro. Boom. 1 kid later, you've got a baby octopus. The trick is keeping everything else, like immune system, skin repair, from freaking out. Still risky, still itchy. But yeah, no waiting, just a little CRISPR and prayer.
All right, full reset on this thing.
Okay, starting fresh.
This sounds like that one mutant from X-Men. The blue one. That transforms.
Yeah. What's the X-Men, the blue one that transforms into people?
That's Mystique, the blue-skinned mutant who can shapeshift into anyone. She's pretty sneaky and usually on Magneto's side.
Right.